Welcome back. Tonight, the Olympic Games get underway in Rio de Janeiro with a glitzy opening ceremony in the rebuilt Maracana Stadium. But with Brazil mired in the depths of recession, health threats from polluted water and the Zika virus, and the row still rumbling on over Russian doping, preparations have been, let's say, far from ideal. And there have been a series of escalating protests against the costs of staging the Games, as Tom Clark now reports.
The final day of Olympic preparations dawns over Rio. The torch made its way up to the iconic statue of Christ the Redeemer. We don't know what was said between the beach volleyball player and the bishop, but he blessed the Games. Brazil could use some redemption right now. The world's eyes upon it in the middle of a deep recession, a public sector pay freeze and a president facing impeachment. In Rio, the path to Olympic glory has been paved with protest. Temer out, they chanted on Copacabana Beach this morning, calling for the interim president to resign. Over the last few weeks, anti-government demonstrators lined the route of the torch relay. No sign of the Olympic spirit on this leg through a poor suburb of Rio. Riot police felt obliged to fire rubber bullets into the crowd to clear the way for the torch. At least this one made it. Last week, Brazilian media reported protesters' claims that the flame was extinguished and one of the torches stolen. Either way, the torchbearers were forced back on the bus and the relay abandoned for the evening.
We're here to protest, not against the Olympics, but against the way the financial resources have been used to hold the Games. The organisers used their enterprises and then they corrupted them, just to gain a lot of money.
Until now, more than 40 billion Brazilian reals have been spent in the Games. But this money has been taken out of hospitals where people die in the hallways. The professors here in Rio are without a salary. They had to hold a 4-month strike just to get their salaries.
And it's not just politics overshadowing tonight's opening ceremony in the Maracanã Stadium. Concerns remain about the ongoing Zika virus epidemic, in reality a far bigger burden for ordinary Brazilians and visitors. Worries too over high levels of pollution in and around Guanabara Bay, which will host swimming, rowing and sailing events. And news this evening that Brazilian footballing legend Pelé has announced he won't be lighting the Olympic cauldron as expected, citing physical frailty. With the world watching, perhaps it's no coincidence that today Brazil's Environment Agency cancelled permits for a controversial dam project that threatened indigenous Amazonian tribes. Protests against the dam on the last unexploited tributary of the Amazon drew widespread international criticism. They've already rehearsed the fireworks, and just hours from now the opening ceremony will get underway. We know that around 270 Russian athletes, 70% of their original team, will be there to make a lap of the stadium, cleared after the doping scandal that's left its entire track and field team back home. Given the political situation, the ceremony itself may not be the most ostentatious in recent history, but Brazil knows how to celebrate, even if lofty Olympic ideals are colliding with the realities of life in Latin America's largest country. There's every reason to expect this to be a Games to remember.
Tom Clark there.